Alright, what is going on, guys? It's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel. Now today we've got some awesome new DC TV, or sort of Arrowverse information. Now today on Twitter, all 4 of the CW DC TV shows, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow, all tweeted out a new picture, and this picture shows off the sort of, I guess, kind of like a comic book cover of what this year's crossover will look like. Now I will break down this picture here later on in the video, but before I get into that, just in case you guys didn't know, this 4-night crossover is not, or this 4-show crossover, should I say, is not actually going to be a 4-night crossover. It's going to be a 2-night crossover. It's going to involve all 4 shows, and hopefully this year, like they've been saying, is Supergirl will actually have a full episode in the crossover, unlike last year, but it will be all 4 shows, but just spread out over 2 days instead of 4 days. So they're gonna have the Supergirl and Flash episode, I think, on the 27th of November, and then the Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow episode to wrap it all up on the 28th of November. Now, going back to that promotional image, we can see that the title of this year's crossover is going to be Crisis on Earth X. Now, that's a very cool title. I think it's a cool little play on Crisis on Infinite Earths, but, you know, with only one Earth, not infinite. But, you know, Crisis on Earth X, that sounds like a really, really cool title. And if you guys look at the border around sort of the main image in the center, which I will get to in a second, but this border, it shows, you know, it shows all of the, sort of all of the main DC TV heroes that will be sort of in this crossover, I'm assuming, is just sort of, these are all the main characters, and these will sort of be all of the main characters that the crossover is focused on. And just because a certain character might not be on this sort of border doesn't mean they're not actually going to be in the crossover. Now, looking at all of these characters, these are all characters that we know and that, you know, that are obviously on all of the other shows, except for there is one character in particular that we have never seen before on any of the DC TV shows, and that is obviously the Ray. And if you guys weren't aware, the Ray is actually getting his own animated series over on the CW Seed, kind of like how Vixen had her own animated series over there. There's going to be an animated series, and I will leave that link down in the description below if you guys want to go check that out. I'm going to be using some pictures from that trailer in this video, but this is definitely pretty interesting because obviously if you go and actually go ahead over and watch that trailer, or if you've already watched that trailer, then Earth X might seem very familiar to you. And if you guys are unaware of what Earth X really is, it pretty much is just an alternate universe where the Nazis won World War II and sort of the world is just kind of run by the Nazis. Now, that is definitely going to be a very interesting premise for this crossover. But going back to breaking down this promo image, if you guys look at sort of the main central part of this image, you can see on the left side we have our normal DC TV heroes, the ones that we know and love, and the ones that will be in the crossover. But if you look over to the right side, you can see their evil Nazi counterparts. Now, this will most likely be, obviously, what they will be fighting in this crossover episode. And one thing also that is very interesting to me is if you sort of look towards the bottom of this center area, you can see 2 people there, and they definitely look a lot like Barry and Iris, don't they? And Iris looks like she's wearing a wedding dress or something, and Barry's obviously dressed in a suit, so what I'm assuming is this is probably their wedding, because they've been saying, like, by they, I mean sort of like the showrunners and everything have been saying that love will play a part in this crossover, so possibly Barry and Iris are going to get married, but it gets interrupted by, you know, the crossover events. And if Barry and Iris's wedding really is going to be in this crossover, then it would definitely make sense as to why maybe everybody would sort of already be together, because, you know, they'd all sort of be meeting for Barry and Iris's wedding. And maybe it will get interrupted by the Ray coming through a breach or something, and then he's going to be like, hey, you fellow superheroes, come help me fight some Nazis. And, you know, you get a good crossover out of it. But those are just sort of my thoughts on what is going on in this promo image and sort of my little thoughts on how this crossover will actually go. But tell me what you guys think about this down in the comments below. I want to know what you think about my thoughts on this premise for the crossover. Do you guys have any different ideas, or do you even like the idea of sort of this crossover of Earth X and everything, and the evil Nazi counterparts of all the different superheroes and things like that? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I want to know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. But until next time, guys, it's been Tazz, and I'll see you guys in the next video.